Hey, welcome back to another video. I just moved. I'm so excited and I'm so grateful to you for enabling all these incredible opportunities like being able to move. And so this Q&A that you're about to watch is the last video that I filmed in that old space, which I also loved and have just tons of feelings for, but I'm so excited about this new space, this new chapter. There's gonna be so many cool videos filmed here, and I just think it looks amazing, so I definitely feel like we're gonna have to do a full tour so you can kind of get the lay of the land, but I just wanted to tell you that. Now we can go into the Q&A, which I kind of got personal and deep into goals, personal things in my life, etc., like the work. So thank you for asking so many great questions, and let's do it. I feel like YouTuber Q&A is normally synonymous with YouTuber not wanting to put in a lot of work and make a good video. But I promise that's not what's happening here. I just feel like we've made so many tech videos. We've been in the throes of tech season for the last couple months. And there's been so many new subscribers to the channel, which is incredibly exciting. And because of that, I want to kind of deepen our connection and answer some of the things that maybe you've been asking a lot but haven't gotten an answer to. And there's also been a lot going on in my life behind the camera. So I want to fill you in on that as well. So I grabbed a cold brew coffee, of course, and I asked you to ask me questions on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, the works. So I'm gonna go through and answer them, and I promise I'm still gonna make this a fun, entertaining video to the best of my ability. So let's do it. All right, question number one, I'm actually asking myself, so I'm already breaking the rules of a standard Q&A, and it's, where the heck have I been? Basically, there was like a 2 or 3 week stretch where there was no videos on the channel, and genuinely it ruined my every day, not even kidding. Like when I would check YouTube Studio, and it would be like 11 days since the last video, 12 days. I'd be like, Jacqueline, what are you doing here? And so there's been 3 major causes for why, and I kind of just thought I would briefly tell you what's been going on. First reason, if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you already know, I broke my foot. And I didn't even break my foot in a cool way. Like, I broke my foot in the lamest way possible. I was filming a camera comparison that you guys saw on the channel, and I was doing a lot of like sprints on a very uneven surface. I did the camera test, whatever, everything goes to plan, my feet feel fine, and I say that I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to edit the video to go up the following day. It was like an embargo, so it was a pretty short time frame. So I set my alarm for 4 a.m. I go to bed at like midnight. And at 2 a.m., I'm woken up, I'm jolted awake with the worst foot pain of my life. It was horrible. I was like, all right, something is not right here. And I went to my doctor and I got an x-ray. And I was like, no way it's gonna be broken. I've been walking on it. Like, yes, it was the worst pain ever, but I've been walking on it. And he was like, yeah, no, this is broken. I was pretty stunned. But that's reason number one. I'm an idiot. I don't know how I broke my foot. Like in the past when I broke my foot, it was like playing basketball or something kind of cool. This one was shooting a camera comparison, so you don't get much nerdier than that. The second reason why I just haven't posted as much is because I've been editing multiple videos at the same time, which is like the worst plan ever. Now I know. Instead of just working on focusing on one video and finishing it, I started both the AirPods 3, the Pixel video, and the Apple Watch video all at the same time. And they were all at like 60 or 70% edited, but obviously none of them got posted because I was working on all of them, so they all were taking different amounts of effort. I feel like I said there were more reasons for why I haven't posted, but I'm bored of this question, so we're gonna move on to the next one, and it's, what was the most exciting opportunity that you've had so far within your career? And this one's a really good question and also a super hard one because you guys have kind of opened up so many doors for me in so many different areas that to only pick one is gonna be near impossible, so I'm not gonna do it, sorry Connor. I'll pick a couple though. So the first one I think is public speaking. I haven't been able to do this in person in like 2 years now because of the pandemic. I've been invited to a lot of places, but I haven't wanted to go to like a 10,000 person conference, but I've been doing it virtually, which has been really cool. A couple college classes. I spoke at Web Summit, which was at like 15,000 person conference. They did it virtually last December, and I spoke at that. That was cool. So I feel like that was one of the coolest things. My first public talk ever was at a meetup that I did where I got to meet some of you for selling merch and stuff. I was incredibly nervous, and that went really well actually. So that was a confirmation that I really enjoyed public speaking. Like I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. And I did it, and I really did enjoy it. And then so from there, I started lecturing at a bunch of different colleges, and then a bunch of different conferences as well. So when we open it up, get it into frame.
Middle.
I think that razor does a really good job. This feels like substantial and nice, but not too heavy that you couldn't take it in your backpack. So kind of running the gamut of like, I spoke at MIT, but then I also spoke at Power Video in Northern Ireland, which was like maybe my favorite conference. If I had to like point to one thing in my career that was like a turning point for like personal development reasons, it was that conference. I met so many of my favorite YouTubers, and I spoke on stage in front of like 600 to 1,000 people. And so that definitely was a confidence builder and something I'm incredibly grateful for. All right, about to go on.
I want to talk about connecting on YouTube. Give it up for Jacqueline Dallas.
Thank you so much to Power Video for having me out here. I'm so excited to be here. There's really nothing that can beat the energy of being in a room with so many other creative people. Thank you so much.
Really
It was good. The crowd was
Yeah,
good.
so
They were
good.
awesome. Yeah.
They're-
It went well. And they all asked really great questions, but it went well. So public speaking stuff, and also I think be able to do other things outside of YouTube, like launch that product that I launched a few months back, whose drop actually just ended last month, or eventually maybe launch cold brew. The opportunities are endless with YouTube, being able to kind of grow the NBT team and work with incredible other people that are equally as interested in tech. All of those things, it's hard to pick one, but so many incredible opportunities that you guys enable every single day. What plans do you have for NothingBuTech in 2022? This is a great question. I think the number one goal that I'm gonna have for 2022 is to actually be on time with videos. I know, shocker. I think sometimes I work so hard to perfect the video that time ends up getting away from me, and then the video becomes kind of irrelevant or less relevant. And it's kind of like shooting myself in the foot, because every time I post a video, I look at things like average view duration to kind of get a sense of how much you've enjoyed the video. So if that's high, then that's a good indicator like that the video is good. But if I post a video a month after you've already watched like 5 other videos, that's probably going to be low regardless of how good I am in the video, right? So it makes it impossible for me to actually kind of iterate and see what you like because of this outside variable, which is timing. So that's going to be my main goal, and I also just want to consistently show up for you. So that's my number one thing. The second thing is the MBT team has been expanding, and so the goal is just to create this incredible like company and team culture. So I'm really excited about that as well. And more on that maybe in the future if you're interested in hearing about it. But that is some of the goals for 2022, and then possibly also a studio space, which leads us into the next question, which was, how much did the pandemic affect your professional life? I want to preface this by saying I'm incredibly grateful that I have a job like YouTube where it's convenient to be in a specific location, but I don't have to be. I can do it from kind of anywhere. Relatively. I mean, there are obviously events and stuff, but in general, kind of anywhere. And so because of that, I was able to immediately work from my office to work from home during the pandemic. So I think that that's something that I'm really going to try to get back in 2022, like another office space. Obviously, I'm really lucky to be able to film from here, but it kind of limits the creativity with the videos a little bit because I'm shooting them all by myself and there's limited space and the location can get kind of dry after 2 years of being in it. So super excited for that. That's definitely a goal for this year. And I definitely miss that OG office. I was going to do like a nicer send off for it than we got to do, but that office was again another huge milestone in my career. And something you guys enabled really early on. It was definitely not the most responsible investment at the time, right? Because I spent almost everything I was making on rent, but it ended up really paying off. So high risk, high reward sometimes, you know? And I'm super excited about that. So great question. Does your podcast have a YouTube channel? I loved your recent Apple Hospital video, by the way. Thank you, Kevin. My podcast does kind of have a YouTube channel. For anyone that doesn't know, I host a podcast with Darsh Kathani, someone that I actually met at the beginning of my career 7 years ago. We're still really good friends. We host this podcast every week. It's a conversation about tech. I guess I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out, but don't leave this video yet. But anyway, so we did have a YouTube channel, but we decided that it made more sense in the short term to just focus on the audio only for the podcast so we can consistently produce an episode every single week. So like weeks when I'm not on YouTube, there's probably still a podcast episode. So you can follow the YouTube channel if you want, but I would say that right now we're just not focusing on that, and it's the podcast audio only on any provider that you listen. What's my favorite part of recording? That is a good question and a hard to answer question. Favorite part of recording is, I think, the B-roll and specifically the top-down shots. Those are super fun to kind of create the set design for. I think my favorite overall process for the video process is like the creative direction, like coming up with the ideas for it, perfecting the story for it, coming up with different ways to engage the audience and make the video better, whether that be through animations or sound design or music, all that kind of stuff. Super fun. I also love editing. That's like one of the most time-consuming parts of the creative process. Like every video can take 20 to 30 hours to edit, but I just love it. Like maybe it's impractical that I'm still editing every single video, but I can't foresee not wanting to do that. It's one of the most fun parts. I know that that's normally the first thing that creators hire and outsource for and build their team for, but I get so much fulfillment from it. So it's got to be editing in the overall process, but creative direction is also generally, which includes editing, the best. What do you think is the future of MBT? Would you change MBT by adding vlogs or cooking or other things in tech, or would you make a different channel? Great question, that creative Mac. So two-parter. Would I add cooking and stuff to this channel? No, I cannot foresee adding cooking to this channel. Obviously you're here for me, but also the tech. And if I just showed up in like a chef's hat and I was like, let's make lemon chicken, you'd be like, what is going on right now? So that will not be happening, but I have kind of toyed with the idea of like in the future creating another channel where maybe there's like behind the scenes vlogs of my work life and the team and things like that. So kind of like the studio, like Marquez did, but maybe a little bit more of a personal element to it. No promises on that, but that's just an idea that I think could be fun to pursue, but definitely not anytime soon, because this channel is kind of the thing that enables every other opportunity and everything relies on it. So I really got to go all in and focus on it because the goal is 1 million subscribers. And so we're almost like 20% there, and I just gotta keep my head down and just keep working. And yeah, so what do I think the future of NBT is kind of a different question, but general same answer. I think it'd be super cool to just keep making these videos, keep the videos getting better and better. I really love when we can create a video that is really deeply rooted in story and it's like a tech video essay. So I want to do more of that. The Tech Explained series is obviously a huge part of that, and other videos that we've made, like why the iPhone 12 mini failed is a great one, I think, as an example. And then expanding the NBT team, creating community is so fun for me. So not only creating community within the NBT team, but then also the NBT community as a whole, like NBT fam. That's one of the most fun parts, and I think one of the parts that I'm naturally best at. Like, I naturally gravitate towards creating community initiatives, whether it be like the monthly logos that have hidden references in them that we all decode together as a community, or it be things like the Discord or that pop-up event that I did. Those things are naturally fun for me, like they really fill me up, and I think that you guys enjoyed them too. So that's going to be a big part of NBT in the future. I think the end goal is just to make the best videos possible, expand the team, have really a lot of good time doing it. I think Marquez is a huge inspiration in everything that he's doing. He's kind of like my northern star of like ideas and inspiration, and he's just crushing it. So super lucky and grateful to know him and be able to kind of watch his journey. And so I think that that's the answer. Obviously, there's other stuff as well. I don't want to kind of show all my cards here. There's a lot of things I'm working on that you guys don't know about yet, but one of the things that I think I've been incredibly obvious about is my love for cold brew coffee. And so that is something that I actually want to launch. Like, I want to launch NBT Cold Brew. I know it's been highly requested, actually, and I really appreciate that you're with me on that. And that's something that I really want to do, and I have a lot of ideas on how it can integrate into the channel and the community and the logos, like tons of ideas there. It's also, like, in general, really important to me that coffee is ethical. Like, the people that are actually making the coffee have a good life and it's ethical and stuff, so that's super important to me, and the environmental impacts. So I want to get all of that right, and so that's why I'm waiting to launch. I also want it to taste incredible and be easy to make. One of the biggest annoyances with cold brew is that if you're making it yourself, it's like a 12-hour waiting time, and I have no patience. I'm immediate gratification. So because of that, I think having the coffee like pre-made would be really cool. So all those are just ideas, but that's definitely next 5 to 10 years. Those are the things that I really want to work on, and that I think the company can strive in. So we're 7 years in, and I'm just excited for the next 7 and beyond. Can we expect the Chronicles of Jacqueline Dallas traveling around the world to sample the best coffee to start production? That is such a cool idea, and if there wasn't a pandemic going on, that would definitely be the move. So maybe that will happen. That's a really cool idea. How challenging is it to balance YouTube and your personal life? Ooh, this is a good question, and I feel like it could honestly be its own topic. So I'm not gonna just like unload on you guys here, but I would say that for the most part it's not really that challenging, but there are definitely certain aspects that are challenging, and I think some of the main ones are that my job is very unique, and a lot of people obviously don't have this job or any experience with this job, which means that my work experiences are pretty unrelatable to a lot of people. For example, I was working on a Saturday. I work on most Saturdays, and I love it, right? Because this job is my passion, and I was at my office, and there was another like just random person there that worked for a different company, and she came up to me and she's like, doesn't it suck that we're working on a Saturday? And I was just like, I'm so grateful that I can't relate to that. Like, I am stoked to be here. And this person was obviously dreading being there. And there's nothing wrong with that either, but I feel really grateful that my job is something that I genuinely look forward to. And so sometimes that can create a barrier where like, I'm very, very passionate about my job. It's something that I love talking about. I love talking about the creator economy and tech and video creation. And I don't know if that passion's always there in other people. So sometimes that can create a barrier to connection. And then also because the job is so out there are tons of questions that come with it, which I think is why most YouTubers do not tell people that they're YouTubers right away. Because the scenario goes one of 3 ways. You tell someone you're a YouTuber and their immediate first question is, how much money do you make? Which just sets up the conversation to be incredibly awkward and underwhelming for them because they're expecting you to be like, $20 million, and you're just not. The second way it will go is that they'll say that they think that they could easily do it too, and it's such an easy job. And not saying that they can't do it too. I mean, they probably could if they put in the time and stuff. But then you're like, either you have to give this person like false hope that it's easy, or you have to like kind of be the Debbie Downer and be like, it's kind of a lot, and here are all the things you have to think about, right? And then the third way that it can go is they ask to be featured in a video, which is also incredibly awkward, especially because my content doesn't lend itself to that. So I often avoid telling people that's my job, but then that's also weird because then you're caging when people ask you, like, what do you do for work? So there's really no good solution. Marquez just made a whole video about this a while back. Sometimes I say it, sometimes I don't, and I think that that's the main way that it affects my personal life. Good question. I feel like there was just a hair going across my face for that whole answer, so I'm sorry about that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years professionally? Great question also. I think it's just growing NBT, right? So hopefully 5 years from now, maybe the channel will be at 800,000 subscribers. That would be really cool. So that's my goal. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep growing it and everything like that. When are we having our next live stream? Honestly, dude, anytime. I'm down to do these anytime. I don't know if you guys enjoy them. Like, let me know in the comments, I guess. Not just like it as a way to boost engagement on this video, but I genuinely want to know. I kind of want to do them every time I launch a monthly logo. Obviously, every month we do these monthly logos that are themed with a dreamscape and hidden references. You know the deal by now. So I kind of feel like it'd be cool to launch those live. And kind of have that be a community event, but I also don't know if you guys care enough about it to do that, so I guess let me know if you want that. What career path would you have wanted to do other than YouTube? This is a really cool question. So when I was really young, like a kid, singing was a passion of mine, and so I had like this dream of becoming a musician, and that was my dream for many years as a child, and then as I got older, my next dream was to be an author. And then as I got a little older, it was to be an actor. And when I look at what the thread line is between all of those dreams and what I'm doing now, it's storytelling. And it's expression and connecting with people. Like all of those dreams are a public-facing job that are you sharing something from your life or someone else's life and telling a story about it and then connecting with people. And that's so cool that from that early on, that was always my dream. But I've always been really interested in tech. Like I just heard the story about my first time ever walking when I was 1 year old. I was at a Radio Shack, so I'm dating myself right now. I saw, it was like right around like the holiday time, so there was like this giant like Christmas tree of presents, and all the presents were like tech things, so it was like a Barbie laptop and all these other products. And I supposedly just got up and started walking towards it, and it was my first time ever walking, and like nonchalantly I just like walked up and like was just like mesmerized by the tree of tech products. So I guess I've always kind of had this love for tech since a really young age. I guess that's why this job makes a lot of sense. When did I realize that YouTube was a feasible career? I don't know, honestly. It was pretty gradual. I would say a year in, I got a talk from another YouTuber that was like, here's kind of how to think about this from a business perspective. His name was Armando, really good friend of mine. And he mentored me a lot. He actually got me like one of my first brand deals ever, which is pretty amazing. And I think it was around there. But the business, like I basically spent every single penny that I made for years before there was any level of like even razor thin profits. And I think that that's a common misconception with YouTubers. The amount of money that a channel makes is not the amount of money an individual makes. You get paid out by the channel, by the company really. So like when you see Mr. Beast makes, let's just say $60 million, that's Mr. Beast Inc. that makes that, but Jimmy doesn't make 60 million. And it's because there are obviously other employees and expenses and rent and all these other things. So yeah, I have decided to be high risk, high reward with the business, investing almost every single thing that it makes because I just have a lot of conviction in it and I really believe that it could be a big thing and the channel is going to keep growing. And because I believe in my work ethic and the conviction and your support, I'm willing to kind of take that risk. But obviously this is not financial advice because everyone's situation is so unique. And so that's the answer to that question. I feel like I kind of went on a little bit of a soapbox there. All right, let's do 2 more questions here. When's the next merch drop? So in terms of like products, like full on merch drops, I mean, I've talked about it so many times, cold brew. I don't have a date on when, but that is gonna be the one that like, if that comes true, you guys will know that it's like a dream coming true for me. In terms of like clothing merch drops and maybe posters and stuff that relate to like the monthly logo and other community-based things, I would say this year is a pretty good bet. I'm not promising anything because when I launch something, I want to make sure that the quality is like impeccable and that you're getting a lot of value for your money and that there's a lot of community-oriented things built into it. So I don't have an exact date on that either, but my goal is 2022. So we shall see. If you have any merch ideas for specific things you want to see, you can also leave that in the comments and I'm going to read every single comment on this video. All right, last question is, what is, in your opinion, what is the best way to make a cold brew coffee? Okay, so there are kind of 2 methods here. You can either brew the coffee, leave it overnight for like 10 or 12 hours. I find that method is really bad because you have to like measure out the exact amount of water, everything has to be in proportion, and it doesn't taste consistent because obviously there's user error every time, and you also have to wait like 10 hours and no one has time for that. So I think pre-made cold brew can be really good if the concentration is high, but it also can kind of run a little bit more expensive, so you kind of have to pick your poison there. But either way, I honestly think it's worth it. Cold brew coffee has higher levels of caffeine and it tastes less acidic and it's just amazing and smooth and awesome. So yeah, all right. I appreciate how many cold brew questions there were. That just shows that you guys really know me. Hopefully this Q&A was interesting and you have my word that I'm going to try to be much more consistent in 2022. Thanks so much for your support, for opening up every single door for me. I just like really can't put into words how much I appreciate, respect, love this community, and you're just being here means the world to me. So thanks for making it to this point of the video. It means that you're actually interested in that. It means a lot to me. So I will catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome rest of the day. Happy holidays, happy new year, all the things, and I will catch you soon.